Welcome, new and returning listeners, to today's episode of the Black Business Roundtable. I am your host, broadcasting to you live from the city of Diversity, Oakland, California, every 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 7 p.m. East Coast Time. First, let's recognize all the mothers, all the grandmothers, all the godmothers, the aunties, the stepmoms, the mom-in-laws, adopted moms, and our best friends' moms, and the moms that have passed on. We extend happy, happy, happy early Mother's Day 2024. Hold on to your hat. Giddy up, or hold on to your hat. Belt buckle, Western saddle, and horse cinches as we are speaking with Sister Valeria, and I want to make sure I say it correctly. Valeria Howard-Cunningham is the owner, yes, a Black woman, is the owner and president of the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo, BPIR, the only African American traveling rodeo in the world, Craig, in the world. I love that one. The Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo is family positive entertainment and with equestrian sportsmanship on display locally July 13th and July 14th. Got your tickets? Well, you better hurry up and get them because they're going fast. As 13th has already sold out, trailblazer and show contributor since the inception, Dr. Ashley Coleman, Doctor of Psychology. We hope to have her back soon. We hope to have you back soon, my sis, for Therapeutic Thursday. We want to continue her role that she has mapped out, and especially during Mental Health Month 2024, as a mental health reminder for our audience today. Here are a few important resources. If you are depressed, feeling suicidal, if you are lonely and feel that you have no way out and need to talk to someone, please call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And once again, please don't go through this alone. Call 988. You can text them or you can chat. Women for a therapy. Women for therapy. Please go online and you can go therapyforblackgirls.com. Once again, therapyforblackgirls.com. And men looking for a therapist, please go online and find a good therapy at therapyforblackmen.org. Celebrating this month courtesy of nationaldaycalendar.com. May is the last month of spring. Yes, folks, summer's coming. It's getting ready to get hot. So we had a sudden storm, and it was raining cats and dogs in the Bay Area, which is unlikely this time of the year. We had 2 feet of snow in the Sierra Mountains. Unbelievable weather here. And they say there's no climate change. Famous birthdays in May besides your own. How about Dr. McLean Benjamin Spock, pediatrician known as the Baby Doc? Yes, we keep it rapping on this show. Also, Sigmund Freud, neurologist and the founder of psychoanalysis and legendary musician. My man, love his music, Stevie Wonder. National days include African World Heritage Day. Some of the biggest threats facing Africa include climate change, uncontrolled development, disease, civil unrest, and poaching. Yes, poaching. National Home Front Heroes Day honors millions of civilians, past and present, who provide support to serve members from the home front. Yes, Black people, that's where we are from, Africa. National Weeks, Occupational Safety and Health Week. Employers, employees, and safety organizations come together to improve work environment and celebrate safe habits. And that's what we're going to be talking about in the near future. Some of the uh, devastating slave plantation that these big multi-billion dollar companies run. Yes, unsafe slave plantation. National Month, National Mental Health Awareness Month, Asian American and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month, National Mediterranean Diet. Mediterranean diet is to indulge in the whole grains, fresh fruit, and vegetables, along with the healthy oils our bodies need. So make sure you look into that and see the hashtag as listed below. A calendar note from the Equal Justice Initiative, EJI. On May 9th, 1961, a 21-year-old John Lewis, a young Black civil rights activist, was severely beaten by a mob at the Rock Hill, South Carolina. Click EJI calendar link for the remainder of this story lesson in our podcast description. Learn more about our history of racial injustice. Yes, injustice, and more about EJI as listed below on the screen. Calendar EJI.org. Thank you. Today on the Black Business Roundtable podcast, guests will include Valeria Howard-Cunningham. After leading a distinguished career in corporate America, and to say that coming from a Black woman, that's amazing because we know that our Black women have faced so many challenges through the history of this country, through the history of this world. Valeria life took a different direction in 2015 when her then husband, Lou Vasson, creator of the BPIR, passed away. After receiving feedback from community, yes, community did not want this to stop. So after receiving feedback from the community regarding the impact the rodeo had in their lives, and African American, the impact the rodeo had on their lives for the last 31 years. Wow. Valeria made the decision to take charge and continue. Yes, this woman left corporate America and to continue the legacy of her husband. We are honored. Yes, we are honored to have her on the show today. Valeria Howard-Cunningham of the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. International, national, regional, and local announcements. Congrats to Brother Andrew Tremaine of the Piermen Ranch and his beautiful family in Charleston, North Carolina. And our previous podcast guests on this new documentary by Sam Vargas. on YouTube titled Road to Nationals Documentary with Q&A, questions and answers. This documentary features Andrew Pearman and his horse training and his goal of winning the All-American Horse Show competition. The link is in the show description and on YouTube. You can donate towards the documentary continuation. Follow Andrew Pearman, see below or in the description. Instagram at The Pearman Ranch and at Sam Vargas Images. Documentary linked below. The Pearman Ranch link. Please check this brother out on the East Coast. Returning June 6th to our podcast, friends of the show. Yes, brother is and possibly going to be our next governor. We want to welcome back on June 6th co-host Barack Obama Shaw, running for governor of this great state of California, and Kaya Nyambi Shivers, founder of ARC Republic. We will be interviewing Rex Pickett, author of Sideways, which became a movie, and he has just announced, yes, hearing it right here on the Black Business Roundtable, he has just announced the completion of a tetralogy, Sideways, Oregon, just mentioned the authorized sequel to Sideways, accepting pre-orders now. Sideways Chile, yes, the country Chile. Sideways New Zealand. The Sideways movie returns in October 2024 to wine country in beautiful Napa Valley, California. That's our very own Napa Valley. We will keep you posted. See contact info below. Kaya Nyambi Shivers. Her website is arcrepublic.com. Instagram at website rexpickettbooks.com. Instagram Rex Pickett at Sideways Brand. Confirm for our podcast. Yes, another sister who we are very proud to be supporting, who's going to be running for the California State Senate, Jovanka Beckles. Sister has done some dynamic work here in the Bay Area, and I believe will do a consistent, great job if she's elected to be a California State Senator. So that's July 11th. Jovanka Beckles. Give us your thumbs up, dun, 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 or your thumbs down, dun, 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 dun. Local, nationally, and internationally. Hashtag thumbs up, hashtag thumbs down. Fans of this segment, send me your thumbs up and thumbs down the day before our show, and they may be featured on the show. Contact me up on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Sharing is caring. So are you ready? Let's go. Thumbs up. This week's thumbs up goes to the city of Richmond, California, for voting to not invest in PG&E. PG&E has been pimping its customers because they have the only show in Northern California. And I don't know about your gas and electric bill, but ours have been going up almost not daily, but hourly. So we want to thank Richmond for holding them accountable and not investing in the PG&E stock and taking that money and putting it elsewhere. They're making enough money off of the people in Northern California. And thumbs down. Dun, 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 dun. Thumbs down. You're not going to believe it. I believe it because I drive the roads every other day, and I used to drive the roads every other day. So thumbs down goes to Oakland, as it is ranked #1 in the nation for the worst roads and highways. All the money we pay for taxes, Oakland is ranked #1 for having the worst roads in the nation. That is unbelievable, Oakland. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Audience, no other traveling rodeo associate has the distinct pleasure of being owned by a Black woman. Yes, sisters in this country are doing outstanding things. A Black woman and showcasing the talents of the organization while being driven by motivated and intelligent Black women. The Black, or excuse me, the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo can come or can claim that distinction. Miss Valeria Howard-Cunningham is elevating BPIR, the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. BPIR. Remember that name because we want to make sure we put 100% support behind the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo to new heights and continue Lou Lasson's legacy to educate and entertain the world. Yes, the world, Craig, about Black cowboys and cowgirls. Welcome to the Black Business Roundtable, a boss on a mission of education, Valeria Howard-Cunningham. Welcome. How are you today?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Well, I'm fighting a little bug, but when my producer said that we have such a magnificent person to share the screen with, to educate all of our people, our magnificent heritage in history in this country, and a Black woman at that. I took some aspirin, some Tylenol, and some and a shot of NyQuil. So I wanted to be here today. We have had the opportunity of having some over the last 3 years. This is going into our third year on the podcast, #1 on BlackUSA.news. But I've read your bio, and I am truly amazed at all the work that you have put in to continue this legacy and this important, very important understanding that Black people, we weren't just slaves. We were not just slaves. We have played a tremendous part in the history of this country as cowboys. And I believe if I know I did my homework right, 1/3 of the cowboys were Black.
1 in 4.
Okay,
all the cowboys were African Americans, but you don't know that because you don't read about it, you don't see it. And so one of the things that we try to do with the rodeo is make sure people understand what the history was of Black cowboys and cowgirls, no matter where we travel. So, yeah.
Well, let's get right into this because I want our audience to have a clear vision, and not just here in Oakland, Alameda County, and in the state of California, but coast to coast and border to border. And I just found out recently that we had a gentleman from China listen and watch the show. So we want him to know where to go when he visits back in the States. For our audience that may not be familiar, who was Bill Pickett and what was he most known for? And can you tell us about the circumstances of his demise, as it seems he was doing what he loved? Thank you.
Absolutely. Bill Pickett was one of those Black cowboys that you don't hear a lot about or people didn't know about. He was born in the 1800s. He was an African American cowboy. He was one of 13 kids, and he left school when he was in the 5th grade to become a ranch hand. And then he started riding horses. and he became very good at that. And one thing that you need to know about Bill Pickett is that he had a nickname, and it was called the Dusty Demon. He was very popular, and he started performing in um, the Wild West shows back in Oklahoma. He became the first Black that was in a movie and back in those days. And so Bill Pickett also created the rodeo event that is called bulldogging. Any rodeo across the world has that event in it. But people didn't know who Bill Pickett was. Once again, because you couldn't read about it, you couldn't see him, you didn't hear anything on television, movies, or anything. So my deceased husband, when he decided to create this rodeo, he decided he was going to name it after Bill Pickett. He sought out the Pickett family, got permission to name the rodeo after Bill Pickett because he felt it was important that people knew who Bill Pickett was.
Well, I am so glad that he did continue this legacy because it's important, as you said, for our people to know where we have come from. And we weren't always cotton picking folks. We had very powerful people all around this country who were doing great things. So thank you. Your late husband, Lou Vasan, and am I saying his name correctly, Vasan?
That's correct, Lou Vasson. He was actually from the Bay Area.
Really?
Yes, he lived and promoted shows and musical entertainment shows, groups and concerts. Everybody in Oakland knows Lou Vasson.
Well, as I was saying, your late husband, Lou Vasan, learned of Bill Pickett and his steer wrestling and named the rodeo after his cowboy legacy. What has been the catalyst for the increased name recognition of the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo of recent years? And has the popularity of Mickey Guyton, Beyonce, and new Black country artists helped to bring more attention to BPIR? And if so, in what way? Thank you.
Thanks for the question. So I will answer your question this way. Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo, we're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. So that means we have been traveling all across the United States for 40 years. We have been entertaining and educating people about Blacks in the West. We have also been showcasing Black cowboys and cowgirls so that people realize that they are real. It's not a myth. They do exist, and they have talents, and they are capable of performing like other cowboys that you see on the television all the time. So when Lou decided that he was going to name the rodeo after Bill Pickett, it was because he wanted people to focus and understand their history. Now, people know and recognize what BPIR is. It represents Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. We are distinctive by ourselves. We were the first African American touring rodeo in the United States, and we still are. So when you refer to rodeo and you say Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo, people know who you're referring to. Now, to answer your question, Mickey Guyton, she has performed with the Bill Pickett rodeo in the past. Miko Marks, who is from Oakland, California, has performed, and now she's a country music singer and is worldwide known. She has performed with Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. So, do they bring additional attention to the rodeo? Absolutely. But as I said before, we've been traveling for 40 years. We've educated, entertained hundreds of thousands of people in 34 cities across the United States. We have crowds from all across the world that come in to see the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. So we stand on our own history by keeping the legacy going of those that have come before us.
Well, the legacy of this rodeo is exemplary. Exemplary. But over 40 years, there surely has been struggle. Is there a challenge or challenges that come to mind that BPIR had to overcome that you can share with our audience today? And also, what was a triumph that you hold close to your heart to this very day? Thank you.
Being a Black business, we were not exempt from having a lot of challenges. But I would say in the early days, the most recognizable challenge that we had was getting corporate America to believe in us, because we were creating something that was different, that was totally African American. Rodeo, people said and told Lou Vasson continuously, "You're crazy. You're not going to be successful. It can't work. It won't work." I mean, every excuse that people could give, we were given. The corporate community were afraid to invest in us or give us money. So we had to overcome that challenge by making sure whatever we did, we were providing a professional rodeo to the public so that people wanted to come and people wanted to have the experience and to embrace us. So we were able to overcome that challenge to the point that corporate America said, "Oh, look at all the people they're bringing in. Look at all the people that are following them.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be part of that." So that was a huge challenge that we had to overcome. Now, does one thing stand out to me that I'm very proud of? Yes. In 2021, we partnered with the PBR, and it was the first time an African American rodeo was on national TV. We did a rodeo called Showdown in Las Vegas, and it was at the MGM Grand Arena. It was televised and shown on Juneteenth of 2021, the same year that President Biden made Juneteenth a national holiday. You couldn't align the stars any better than that. So that is something that we were very proud of because we made history and we continue to make history every day.
Wow. And that is amazing because having a Black president my dad passed away. Thought they would never get to see that in America. So to have the first um, African American rodeo televised in that same segment and that same era, that's truly amazing. What can guests expect to see at the BPIR, as many Bay Area families have never seen any equestrian sports in person, let alone with African American men and women participating? Thank you.
Well, we are a rodeo. So if you come, you will experience a full rodeo, including bareback and ranch bronc riding, tie down roping, steer wrestling. Remember, I said earlier that Bill Pickett created that event, steer wrestling. You will see ladies barrel racing, ladies steer and decorating, ladies breakaway, bull riding, and we never forget our future generations, our kids. So we have junior barrel racing, we have junior breakaway, and we have peewee barrel racing. We have young kids, 3 to 6 years old, performing in our rodeo. And I can tell you this, once you have the experience, you will never forget it, and you will never miss another BPIR rodeo.
Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo announces transition to next gen rodeo for event entries and management. Starting in May of 2024, this new technology platform will take place. Can you share what this will mean for Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo for both contestants and fans? Also, under your leadership, audience, look at this Black woman leading a rodeo under your leadership. And I look at you and I just get all I just get all giddy. Under your leadership. Other exciting news is on the horizon or are there other exciting news on the horizon for the remainder of 2024 into 2025 for the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo? Thank you.
Absolutely. We are always excited to go into different cities to entertain people. And as we're celebrating our 40th anniversary, we're doing different celebrations in each city. Since that time in 2021, when we made the national TV stage, we have created a residency program in Fort Worth, Texas, at the Cowtown Coliseum, which is the oldest rodeo arena in the United States. We go there 4 times a year, and it is an unimaginable rodeo at this facility, and how the people have embraced the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo in Fort Worth, Texas. We have received an award from Visit Fort Worth for bringing diversity to the community. The businesses around Cowtown Coliseum had never seen as many people that look like you and I before, and they are overwhelmed with the amount of diversity we have brought into that town. So when you say we are creating new things, I don't do this on my own. I have an incredible team of beautiful Black women that surround me and support me. And we are always pushing the edge of the envelope to bring new things and new ideas. Later this month, I cannot tell you what it is, but we are going to be releasing something new that is going to have a significant impact on our community. So we're very proud that we keep pushing forward. We create a platform that um, African Americans can feel very comfortable about and feel very proud about because it's a reflection of them. And so that's what the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo is all about: making people proud, educating them, allowing them to have fun, and bringing family and community together.
Wow, that is amazing. Speaking of women, we have had equestrian sister Brianna Noble. She was the one who rode the horse down in the middle of downtown Oakland when they were having the riot after the George Floyd killing by the policeman. And also North Carolina equestrian, the real Pierman Ranch with brother Andrew Pierman and his famous horse, Ivan and harness winner Hubert on our podcast, past podcast. So we have introduced to our audience in the past equestrians of color. It is expensive to give children exposure. What are some of perhaps opportunities your organization may have to help offset getting children up close and personal with horses? And some of them have never been off their block. So to see horses is amazing. Thank you.
Yes, I'm excited to answer that question because one of the things that we realize is a lot of kids don't leave their communities and they don't have an opportunity to be exposed to things. So we created what is called a rodeo for kids' sake. And we do this rodeo in certain communities around the country where we visit when school is in place. We just left Memphis, Tennessee last month. We had 4,500 elementary and middle school kids to come in as a field trip where they get to experience what a rodeo is. They get to learn about Blacks in the West, in the development of the West as a history lesson. And they get to actually see Black cowboys and cowgirls. And if I could share just a quick little story with you that just stays with me. It was
Please do.
a
Please do.
couple years ago at a rodeo for kids' sake. A little 7-year-old boy walked into the facility and he had his little cowboy hat on, all dressed up. And as he got in closer to the arena and he could see the Black cowboys and cowgirls there, he just stopped in his tracks and he put his little hands on his hips and he said, "I can't believe this. There really are Black cowboys and cowgirls." And I was standing there to see that moment and see that expression on his face. And tears came down my eyes because the fact that we can share that with communities across the country and let our kids know that even though they don't see them on TV or in the movies, that Black cowboys and cowgirls are real.
I'm glad you shared that because that is part of the success of this show. We bring on doctors, lawyers, accountants, politicians, community leaders. Now, having you on the show brings it full circle because if our young people can see it, can see somebody who look like us, they can conceive it for themselves. And that is,
Absolutely.
yes. And that is what mass media, big media, does not want Black boys and girls to conceive these things. Then they can't believe these things. So thank you.
I know your show is time, but there's another component. I have a nonprofit, the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo Foundation, because I believe when communities give to you, you should give back to them. And so we reach out to kids and offer scholarships in each city that we travel to. Kids that are transitioning from high school to college, they can apply for those scholarships. We also this year introduced our Saddle Up with BPIRF program, where we're reaching out to young kids between the ages of 14 to 18 to educate them about opportunities that exist in our world with agriculture, with the USDA, learning about soils, about air, about science, STEM, all those programs, stock. Kids don't recognize that food that they eat just get made in a grocery store. They don't know that people have to plant seeds and grow things that they eat, or make animals and stuff. So we are reaching out to help educate our kids and give them a broader horizon about what's real in the world that we live in.
Well, that was my next question because I looked at your board values, and let me be clear. Audience: integrity, passion, diversity, quality, stewardship, community, partnership, and heritage. That is on there. That's their foundation board values. Is there anything else you would like to share that we cannot, that we have not touched on this afternoon in regard to the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo and Foundation? Thank you.
I could talk about Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo until the cows come home, because it is something that we're all very proud of. We have 4 and 5 generations of families that have followed the Bill Pickett for 40 years. They have traveled all around the United States with us. They have brought their families up. I have had many customers that in the Oakland area that have been to the rodeo that come every year, and they tell me, don't ever stop doing the rodeo because we raised our kids up on the rodeo. They are raising their kids up on the rodeo, and we expect them to raise their kids. That says a lot about who we are, what we stand for, and there will never be a rodeo that's not done at the highest level of perfection, entertainment, and education for our communities. We are one, we come together, we have fun, and we do the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo with soul.
And the last question I think has been answered, but can you tell us about the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo? Anything else that we have not learned here about what this rodeo, the what it does for the community, specifically the Black community. Thank you.
Well, I think I've spoken to that, but what I would like to say is it brings the world together, just not the community. We had a group of 32 people from Jerusalem last year to fly over to attend a Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. At one of our shows in Fort Worth, we had 9 different countries represented that came over to have the experience of the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. We have had an art exhibition in front of the Louvre in Paris. We have had a Germany company come over and do a documentary about us. We just had a company, a production company from the UK that came. They were actually in Oakland last year and did an incredible piece about the Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo. So the world is watching. They're always watching, and they have been following us. And I feel very good that we are sharing the history of Blacks, showcasing the current talents of Black cowboys and cowgirls and the future cowboys and cowgirls to the world. Now, one of the things that we are working on is that Bill Pickett is working on having a reality show.
Wow.
And we are also working on a drama. So there are a lot of great things to come. What has been accomplished in 40 years is not to be forgotten, and we intend not to let that happen.
Audience, we want to thank together Miss Valeria, and she taught me how to pronounce her name correctly, Valeria Cunningham, who has a group of ladies who are bringing country cowboy to people all across this country in communities that would not normally or probably ever have the opportunity, kids, to see what's going on. We really appreciate you coming today. Audience, to learn more, her office number is 303-373-1246. And you can also visit their website at billpicketrodeo.com as listed on the screen below, www.bpirfoundation.org, and call today to get those tickets to see this magnificent woman and her team as we put Black young people. I see you out there, Michael. Black young people in positions to do whatever they want to. Because if we can teach our kids to see us doing these things, then they can believe it and they can conceive it. To that end, Valeria, thank you very much. You have an outstanding day. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, and thanks to everybody across the country for your support, because we could not do it without you.
And that's in China too now. We got a brother in China who watches. God bless. Stay strong, sister.
Thank you.
On that note, thank you to Mr. Donnie Glover for the honor of the Black Business Roundtable, being a part of your growing network dedicated to bringing the real, unfiltered news before the news. Hashtag BlackUSA.news, hashtag Donnie Glover, and visit his website at bemorenews.com, blackusanews.org, twitter.com, Donnie Glover. Visit him on facebook.com, Donnie Glover, youtube.com, Donnie Glover. See more of the shows under his media umbrella, which would include Chaplain Friends, Party Marty Let's Talk, Black USA Crypto News with Kamal Hubbard, my brother, the Blackout Live from New York with my little sister Tashmir, 60 Minutes in Black USA with my brother Michael Haney, BlackUSA.News Morning Show, Donnie Glover Show, Shared Space, Frontline News, Troy Rawlings Show, and the Beverly Smith Show, and more. Audience, thank you for continuing to share. Hashtag Stand with Carlton of Raleigh, NC 2022. He was in prison, yes, in prison, for self-defense when threatened with bodily harm from a man with a gun, along with his patron in his business establishment. Please listen to the backstory of Carlton. Once again, please listen to the back end story on Carlton. The link is in the podcast description below. And it's just shameful. It's shameful how they treated this brother in North Carolina. Also, thank you here in Northern California for supporting Justice for Enzo. Once again, hashtag Justice for Enzo. The Husky in Lodi, California, the animal advocate, the hashtag Chris Kelly Foundation, based in Southern California, continue with hashtag boycott Lodi CA, hashtag boycott Lodi, hashtag boycott Lodi wines. You have many choices of wine purchases other than the 80 plus winemakers in Lodi and San Joaquin Valley. So let's continue to boycott them and let them know that we don't treat our animals that way. Google Justice for Enzo, the Husky, and see the chilling video. And I can't even watch it anymore. It is chilling video of how they drug this dog, this family pet, down the street. Share it with friends and neighbors so we can understand that we have to teach Lodi police and animal control. You will not treat our animals this way. The video has been on its way to, made it to Europe, to New Zealand, and beyond. There is GoFundMe and petition as well. If you want to be in the know and reach our audience, then join our advertisement family or to be a possible guest on the show. Reach us via our email, bbrt2021@hotmail.com. Include your company name, address, website, company phone number, and social media page info to our email address, bbrt2021@hotmail.com for vetting consideration. Audience, help us grow by sharing our podcast and following us on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Tune in Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 7 p.m. East Coast Time on the BlackUSA.News Network on YouTube, Facebook, and live on Instagram. Meet us after the show on Instagram Live. Art Blacksher, new segment, Doug's Podcast Wrap Up. I'll be doing that in a few minutes. And remember, together, audience, we can listen, we can learn and we can share, because I know you care. I know you care. This is Doug Blacksher and Dr. Ashley Coleman, hopefully returning soon, of the Black Business Roundtable. God bless and good night.